This film analysis is on The Hangover Part 2 and Gran Torino by Ashley, Kate, and Tom. The Hangover Part 2 is about the characters traveling to Thailand for a family wedding set in present day. And even though the setting is in Asia, the main Asian characters are Asian America. The setting includes both the islands of Thailand and the main city of Bangkok.
Asian American characters/actors in this film. The actors are listed below, and the characters are Mr. Chow, Lauren, Teddy, Fawn, and Kimmy. The purpose of these characters. Mr. Chow is an Asian gangster, which is intended for comedic purposes. Lauren is the bride in the film. Her father is Fawn and her brother is Teddy. Teddy has gone missing after a night of partying and needs to be found. Fawn is depicted as a tiger father and is very strict and not nice to Lauren's fiance. And finally, Kimmy is a transgender prostitute that is very popular in Thai culture. Assumptions of white culture. First is hardworking individuals and work ethic, which is shown by Teddy, Lauren, and Fawn. Next is status, power, and authority, and the idea that money equals power, which is in accordance to Mr. Chow. And finally is be polite and don't raise your voice, which Lauren and Teddy abide by with their father. Next is microaggressions in The Hangover Part 2. First is the depiction of Bangkok. Thailand is transformed into an insane realm of violence and sex, all accompanied by stereotypes, from Asian gangsters to wise monks, exotic women, and ladyboys. Ladyboys are transgender prostitutes. Next is Mr. Chow's pronunciation of the English language and his accent when he's saying IA, International Criminal. Next is when Alan says, as they are walking through a temple, "What is this, P.F. Chang's?" And finally, Doug says, "Wait, so where exactly are you guys?" And Phil responds, "I don't know, Doug, effing Asia Town." Examples of Asian American stereotypes. First, Teddy is the smart Asian student. Next, Fawn is not blessing his daughter's marriage because he wants her to marry an Asian man or doctor, better known as a tiger father. Next, Asians cannot drink or party. Next, there are strict family systems. And finally, beautiful women are exotic. Breaking the stereotypes. First, the two characters get married and the daughter went against her father. Teddy partied, which goes against the law-abiding stereotype. And Mr. Chow is a gangster, which again goes against the law-abiding stereotype of Asian Americans. How do these characters impact society? The characters in the movie really exemplify how much we poke fun at Asian Americans and how we view Asia, specifically Thailand. Even though this movie is intended for comedic purposes, the characters portray Asian American stereotypes and encourage others to continue this practice.
Gran Torino is the second film that will be discussed, which is about an old white male, Walt, who is a Korean veteran and lives in a predominantly Asian American neighborhood. Most of his neighborhood are made up of the Hmong descent. Gran Torino's target audience could be of any age group, and this is because of the person Clint Eastwood portrays. And the purpose of this film is about racism in modern America. There are many characters of Asian descent in this movie. The main characters are Tao Vang Lor. He is the main character, shy, harassed by gang members, and Walt teaches him to come out of his shell. He is played by actor B. Vang, who was of the Hmong descent. Su Vang Lor, Tao's sister, is sassy, outgoing, and smart. She's portrayed as having a lot of common sense, and she's played by Aheni Her. The Vang-Lor family is seen as very traditional in Hmong values and traditions, and the family does not speak English. The Hmong gang members are up to no good, hateful, and very dangerous. Spider is the leader of the gang and is portrayed as very scary. Spider is played by Dao Mao. He's born in Thailand. The assumptions of white culture that can be found in this film, there are 5 out of the 15 assumptions, is rugged individualism. This is seen when Mrs. Vang-Lor is talking to an uncle about Tao's lack of independence and autonomy. Competition, this can be seen multiple times, but mainly when Tao wants to immediately retaliate after the gang members attack his family. Action orientation is shown when Tao shows up to Walt's house demanding a plan of action. He says to Walt, thinking time is over, now we have to do something. Also, the priest shows up to Walt's house and asks Walt what he is going to do about the situation. A Protestant work ethic is also shown in Tao's hard work to gain back Walt's respect. He works every day through bad weather and everything. And also this is seen when Walt says, we have to plan this very carefully, no mistakes can be made. The last assumption of white culture that is found is future orientation, when Tao tries to get his life in order by planning for future jobs, and Walt also plans for his death by going to confession, creating a will, and making arrangements for his dog Daisy. These are some microaggressions made by Walt toward the Hmong descent. And here are only a few more of the many microaggressions made by Walt throughout the movie. Walt fits the stereotype of a racist old man, and the Hmong family portrays the traditions they believe in, such as believing their soul lies in their head. Walt breaks stereotypes by leaving his 1972 Gran Torino to Tao. He also was an old man who had racial tendencies and made many racial slurs to his neighbors, but ends up protecting them and becoming a guardian for them. The biggest impact on society is left by Walt when he changes from a racist, lonely American veteran to somebody who loves the people he once hated. He shows that you can put racism aside and that love is the only thing that matters.